Bruna has a PhD from James Cook University, Australia, in Luminary Nutrition. He obtained that degree in 1985, and he has a master's degree from the same university in the same field in 1982, and he got his BSc from Nusa Tenggara University, majoring in animal production in 1977. And today he will present his paper on the dynamic of native drug resources in dryland implementation to support agricultural production. Please,
Thank you, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank FTC and the Indonesian Research Institute of Animal Production for inviting me to present one of the paper. The paper is the dynamic of native grass resources in dry area of Indonesia to support beef cattle production. It is a case study from Nusa Tenggara area, an area that's the driest in Indonesia. The paper will be divided in 5 sessions: production of native grasses, productivity of cattle, opportunity to improve to forage resources or feed resources, and inclusion. We know that Indonesia is a large country. It's about 5.2 billion kilometers, about 40% land and 60% sea. And we have a population of 230 million people. It's a big market for agricultural products. My talk will be concentrated in Nusa Tenggara area. It is, I just mentioned, one of the driest area in Indonesia, and we have some of the grazing area in this. Talking about dry land in Indonesia, it's about 47 million hectares. 11 million hectares are in Papua, or West Irian, and also in Nusa Tenggara. So the paper focuses in Nusa Tenggara, located in the southeastern part of Indonesia. About 67.5% of the land is suited for the grazing animals. The annual rainfall is as much as 1,500 millimeters per year. In Nusa Tenggara, there are about 1 million head of cattle, mainly bali cattle, and it contributes significantly to the development of livestock in Indonesia. So, in the last 3 decades, about 1.2 million head of beef cattle distributed to other parts of Indonesia, particularly to Jakarta, and 150,000 head of breeding cattle distributed to Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. Most of the cattle rise on grazing areas, but now the productivity tend to decrease as the cattle number is increasing because of the carrying capacity is limited. Dry land in Indonesia mostly depend on the rainfall. We divided that 47 million hectares into 4 categories. There are alang-alang base. We talking about alang-alang base yesterday and today, about 8.7 million hectares, mostly in Sumatra and Kalimantan. Crop estate base, about 14 million hectares, also in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and some in Sulawesi. Grazing land base, 11 million hectares, I mentioned before, Nusa Tenggara and Papua, and mixed plants base or mixed garden, which is agriculture base, about 5.2 million hectares, particularly in Java and Aceh. In this area, for dryland, opportunity for cattle development is high because it's not really suitable for intensive agriculture. Certainly, ruminantia is better than non-ruminantia in dryland because of the resource available there is mostly high fiber feed resource. The characteristics of Nusa Tenggara, mainly extensive system. In this area, the problem of feeding during dry season is very significant. Low productivity, but the role of the animals is significant to the people there. We evaluated some years ago that the farmer can receive as much as 50% of their income from livestock, depend on the land type and also depend on the agriculture product, the rice in the land. Nusa Tenggara is cattle and buffalo producer, dominated by body cattle. The second point on the productivity of native grasses